The Galactic Council had not thought much about humanity for 3,000 years after the Great War, which ended in a fragile peace. Humans were forgotten. The council members were busy with their own lives, managing their own planets, and avoiding conflicts. The old stories of humans became little more than myths, faded into the background of galactic history. One day, as the council reviewed ancient records, they stumbled upon old documents about the human war. These records describe humans as fierce and powerful, their technology far beyond what was common in the galaxy. The council members were shocked. They had not expected that the humans, whom they had considered a mere footnote in history, could be so advanced. The council's High Chancellor, a tall and imposing figure with a stern face, called an emergency meeting. "We've discovered something alarming," he said as the members gathered in the grand chamber. The room was filled with a mix of species, each with their own unique appearance, from reptilian beings to floating entities of light. The Chancellor projected images of ancient human warships onto a giant screen. The ships were sleek, with designs that were both beautiful and intimidating. The council members murmured among themselves, their faces a mix of awe and concern. "We must act quickly," the Chancellor continued. "These humans, though they have been silent for centuries, could still pose a threat. We cannot allow them to surprise us again." Some members were skeptical. "How can we be sure these records are accurate?" asked a soft-spoken alien with large, curious eyes. "Humans may have changed over the millennia. They might not be a threat anymore." The Chancellor shook his head. "Even if they have changed, we cannot take the risk. We must prepare for the worst. Let's not forget how they nearly defeated us last time. We were lucky to secure peace." The council debated fiercely. Some argued that humanity had likely declined, their technology outdated, and their influence minimal. Others believed that the old stories were enough to justify action. The discussions became heated, with voices rising and accusations flying. The thought of an old enemy stirring up trouble was too unsettling for many. In the end, the council voted to declare war on humans. They believed they were making the right choice. The council's decision was based on fear and old records, not on any current knowledge. They underestimated the human potential and overestimated their own power. Preparations began immediately. The council's fleet was mobilized, ships were upgraded, and soldiers were trained. The once peaceful space was now buzzing with the activity of preparing for battle. The Galactic Council was confident that this time they would defeat the humans and secure their dominance once and for all. Unbeknownst to them, humans had been quietly preparing too. Earth had remained hidden, its people living in isolation, developing technology that far surpassed anything the Council had seen. Humans had their own reasons for staying out of galactic affairs, but they were not unprepared for a threat. They had watched the galaxy from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true power. As the Council's fleet set its course for Earth, they believed victory was assured. They had no idea that they were about to face an enemy far beyond their wildest imaginations. The Council's big mistake was about to unfold, setting the stage for a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. As soon as the Galactic Council decided to declare war on humanity, they went into high gear, preparing for the conflict that they believed would bring them victory. The decision was made with confidence, but the reality of what lay ahead was far from clear. The Council's central hub, a massive space station orbiting a distant star, became a hive of activity. Workers rushed through the halls, carrying data pads and reports. Engineers worked day and night, repairing and upgrading the vast fleet of warships that would soon be heading toward Earth. The atmosphere was tense but determined. The Council's leaders were resolute in their belief that they would crush the humans swiftly and decisively. The Council's fleet consisted of numerous warships, each equipped with powerful weapons and advanced technology. The ships were sleek, with armor plating that was designed to withstand the harsh conditions of deep space. They were also heavily armed with laser cannons and missile launchers, ready to engage any enemy that crossed their path. Admirals and generals met in strategy rooms, their faces lit by holographic displays showing the galaxy. They studied maps of Earth and its surrounding space, plotting their course with precision. Their goal was to launch a surprise attack on Earth's outer colonies, believing that these targets would be easy to conquer and would serve as a prelude to taking the main planet itself. "I want this operation to be flawless," the High Chancellor ordered during one of the strategy meetings. "We cannot afford any mistakes. Humanity's old technology may be more advanced than we anticipated, but we have the numbers and the firepower to overwhelm them." The leaders of the council were not just focusing on their military preparations. They were also working on propaganda. They spread stories about the threat of humanity, convincing their citizens that the humans were a dangerous enemy that needed to be dealt with quickly. This helped to unite the galaxy's many races against a common foe and justify the massive military buildup. On the other side of the galaxy, the Council's warships began their journey toward Earth. Each ship was equipped with advanced propulsion systems that allowed them to travel vast distances in a short time. The crews aboard these ships were experienced soldiers and pilots, trained for battle and ready to follow orders without question. The Council spies had been monitoring Earth from a distance, gathering as much information as they could. They had some knowledge of human defenses and technology, but the reports were old and incomplete. The Council's leaders were confident that their current intelligence was enough to win the war, but they were missing crucial details about the humans' true capabilities. As the fleet approached Earth, the Council continued to monitor the situation from their command center. They expected to encounter only minimal resistance and believed their superior firepower would quickly bring the humans to their knees. The preparations were meticulous, and the Council members had no reason to doubt their strategy. Meanwhile, on Earth, life went on as usual. The humans had been preparing for this moment, but they kept their readiness hidden from the galaxy. Their technology and military strength were far beyond what the Council had imagined. The humans had their own reasons for staying hidden, and they were well aware of the coming threat. The Council's confidence was about to be tested in ways they had not anticipated. As their fleet drew closer to Earth, they remained unaware of the powerful defenses and advanced technology waiting for them. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reveal just how big a mistake the Council had made. The preparations for battle were nearly complete, and the countdown to conflict had begun. On Earth, life continued as usual while the Galactic Council prepared for war. From the outside, it seemed like nothing was amiss. People went about their daily routines, businesses operated, and the cities buzzed with activity. Yet beneath the surface, humanity was readying itself for a conflict that the Galactic Council had grossly underestimated. The leaders of Earth were not caught off guard by the Council's decision. For centuries, they had maintained a low profile, keeping their technology and military strength hidden from the rest of the galaxy. This secrecy was not born out of fear, but out of a strategic choice to avoid unnecessary conflicts. Now, however, their hidden strength was about to be revealed. Deep underground, in secure facilities hidden from prying eyes, humanity's advanced technology was being readied. These were not just any facilities. They were massive, state-of-the-art bunkers equipped with the most sophisticated machines and weaponry. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, preparing everything for the upcoming battle. The heart of humanity's secret strength was their technology. Over the years, humans had developed incredible advancements in weapons, defense systems, and space travel. Their warships were unlike anything the Galactic Council had ever seen. They were fast, more powerful, and equipped with technology that seemed like magic to outsiders. The ships could manipulate energy fields, bend light, and travel faster than any known spacecraft. The human military was equally impressive. Soldiers trained in secret facilities, mastering skills and techniques that made them the finest warriors in the galaxy. They were experts in both advanced combat and strategic planning. These soldiers were ready for any challenge, and their training had prepared them to face threats far beyond anything the Galactic Council could imagine. Despite their readiness, the humans were careful not to reveal their capabilities. They watched the Council's movements closely, monitoring every fleet update and strategy meeting. The Council believed that they had the element of surprise. But in reality, the humans were fully aware of their approach. Earth's leaders had seen the signs of impending war and had planned accordingly. The Council's intelligence reports had suggested that Earth's defenses were outdated and minimal. The reports were based on old data and didn't account for the technological leaps humans had made in the last 3,000 years. As a result, the Council was walking into a trap they didn't even know existed. As the Council's fleet drew closer, humanity's defenses were activated. Hidden installations across Earth began to power up, and the advanced weaponry that had been waiting in the shadows was put into action. Humanity's readiness was about to be tested, and they were prepared to demonstrate their strength. In the final day before the conflict began, the mood on Earth was calm but focused. Leaders held secret meetings, strategizing their response to the Council's attack. The general public was unaware of the full extent of the preparations, but they were confident in their leaders' ability to protect them. When the Galactic Council's fleet arrived at Earth's outer colonies, they were greeted not with the weak resistance they had anticipated, but with a full-scale defense. The humans' hidden technology and military power were unleashed, showcasing a level of advancement that left the Council in shock. Humanity's quiet strength had been a key factor in their survival and success. The Galactic Council had misjudged their opponent, and the unexpected show of power was about to shift the balance of the war. The Council's mistake was clear. They had underestimated humanity, and the consequences were about to unfold. The Galactic Council's fleet approached Earth with high hopes. They had been preparing for this moment for months, confident that their surprise attack would be an easy victory. Their plan was to target Earth's outer colonies first, thinking that they would be weak and poorly defended. As the fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, the Council's commanders were eager to begin their assault. Their ships were sleek and powerful, each one bristling with advanced weaponry. The Council's leaders watched from their command ship, a massive vessel equipped with the latest technology and protected by thick armor. The first target was a small colony on the outer rim of Earth space. The colony was a hub for mining and research, and while it was important, it was not heavily fortified. The Council's strategy was to hit it hard and fast, believing that this would send a message to Earth that resistance was futile. The fleet moved silently through space, its ships aligning for the attack. The Council soldiers prepared their weapons, and the captains of the ships made final adjustments to their targeting systems. The Council was eager to see the humans cower before their might. However, as the fleet closed in on the colony, something unexpected happened. The colony's defenses, which the Council had assumed were minimal, began to activate. Advanced technology that had been hidden for centuries was now being used against them. The Council's commanders were taken aback as they saw a network of energy shields and missile launchers spring to life. The first wave of the Council's attack was met with a fierce counterstrike. The colony's defense systems fired back with precision, targeting the incoming missiles and laser blasts with impressive accuracy. The Council's ships were hit hard, and several of them were damaged in the initial exchange of fire. The Council's leaders were stunned. They had not anticipated such a strong defense. "What is happening?" the High Chancellor demanded, his voice tinged with frustration. "Why are our attacks not working?" The situation quickly escalated. The colony's hidden warships, equipped with the latest human technology, emerged from stealth. These ships were fast and agile, moving with a grace that the Council's ships could not match. The humans began to launch a series of attacks that overwhelmed the Council's defenses. The battle was intense. Human warships darted around the Council's fleet, using advanced weapons that seemed almost magical. Energy beams sliced through the Council's ships, and missiles with unusual tracking systems hit their targets with deadly precision. The Council's ships, once so confident, were now struggling to defend themselves. The commanders on the Council's ships scrambled to respond, issuing orders and deploying countermeasures. But the humans were always one step ahead. The Council's strategy, designed to be a decisive victory, was turning into a chaotic fight for survival. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Council had underestimated their opponent. The first attack, meant to be a simple operation, had turned into a desperate struggle. The Council's ships began to retreat, their commanders realizing that they had made a grave mistake. The once feared invaders were now on the defensive. Back on Earth, the people watched the battle unfold with a mix of anxiety and relief. They knew their defenses were strong, but seeing them in action against such a formidable force was both reassuring and sobering. The fight was far from over, but humanity had shown that they were not to be taken lightly. The first attack had failed to achieve its goal. Instead of breaking the human spirit, it had strengthened their resolve. The Galactic Council's initial confidence was shattered, and the battle for Earth had only just begun. The stage was set for a conflict that would challenge both sides in ways they had never imagined. After the Council's failed first attack, the mood on Earth shifted from cautious optimism to determined resolve. The humans had proven their strength and resilience, but they knew that this was only the beginning of a much larger conflict. The Galactic Council was not going to retreat easily, and humanity had to prepare for an even fiercer battle. In the aftermath of the attack, Earth's leaders held an emergency meeting to discuss their next steps. They gathered in a high-tech command center deep underground, away from the prying eyes of the enemy. The room was filled with tension as they reviewed the damage and assessed their strategy. "The Council underestimated us," said General Rivera, the head of Earth's military forces. "But now they know we are not to be taken lightly. We need to hit back hard and show them that we are ready for this fight." The leaders agreed. They had hidden technology and weapons that were now ready for use. Their warships, which had been lying in wait, were mobilized. These ships were equipped with advanced weaponry and defenses that had not yet been seen by the Galactic Council. As the humans prepared for their counterattack, their forces moved with precision. The warships were deployed to key locations where they could intercept and engage the Council's fleet. The colonies that had been targeted in the initial attack were now fortified with additional defenses, ready to repel any further incursions. The first target of humanity's counterattack was a major Council base on the edge of the solar system. This base was crucial for the Council's operations and communication. Taking it out would be a significant blow to their war effort. The humans planned their strike carefully, ensuring that they had the element of surprise. At dawn, Earth's warships launched their assault. The attack was swift and powerful. Advanced energy weapons fired beams of intense light that cut through the Council's defenses. Missiles with advanced tracking systems struck their targets with deadly accuracy. The base, once a symbol of the Council's strength, was quickly overwhelmed. The Council's response was chaotic. Their commanders, caught off guard by the sudden and fierce attack, scrambled to mount a defense. Ships and soldiers moved frantically, trying to repel the human onslaught. The base's defenses, though strong, were no match for the coordinated assault of Earth's forces. As the battle raged, Earth's warships continued their push, targeting other Council positions. The humans showed a level of strategy and coordination that the Council had not anticipated. The Galactic Council's fleet, which had once seemed so invincible, was now struggling to hold its ground. The Council's leaders watched in shock as their plans unraveled. The High Chancellor, who had been so confident of their victory, now faced the reality of a fierce and well-prepared enemy. "We need reinforcements," he ordered urgently. "The humans are stronger than we thought. We cannot afford to lose this base." Back on Earth, the mood was one of fierce determination. The humans had proven that they could fight back and win against a powerful enemy. The victory at the base was a significant morale boost and a clear message to the Galactic Council that they were not invincible. As the battle for Earth continued, it became clear that the conflict was far from over. The Galactic Council would not give up easily, and the war was bound to escalate. But humanity had shown that they were not only capable of defending themselves, but also of taking the fight to their enemies. The first major counterattack was a success, but it was just one part of a larger struggle. Both sides were now fully engaged in a war that would test their strength, strategy, and resolve. Humanity's fight back had set the stage for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy and determine the fate of both the Council and Earth. As the war between humanity and the Galactic Council continued, the true power of humans began to shine through. The Council had underestimated Earth's capabilities, but as the conflict progressed, they started to see just how formidable their opponents were. After their initial setbacks, the Council regrouped and tried to reassess their strategy. They sent reinforcements and tried new tactics, but the humans were always one step ahead. The Council's commanders were beginning to understand that humanity's strength was not just in their technology, but also in their unity and resolve. On Earth, the atmosphere was one of intense preparation and relentless determination. People from all walks of life were contributing to the war effort. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and even civilians were working together, driven by a shared goal to defend their planet. The human military was equipped with advanced technology that was proving to be a game changer. One of their greatest innovations was their energy shields, which could deflect even the most powerful Council weapons. This technology allowed human warships to withstand attacks that would have destroyed lesser ships. Additionally, Their weaponry included missiles with smart targeting systems and energy weapons that could pierce through the toughest armor. But technology alone wasn't what made humanity powerful. It was their ability to adapt, innovate, and fight with unwavering determination. Human soldiers displayed incredible bravery and skill in battle. They were trained to think on their feet and to use their environment to their advantage. This flexibility in combat made them unpredictable and hard for the Council to counter. The Council's leaders watched in frustration as their plans continued to fail. Each time they tried a new strategy, the humans found a way to counter it. The Council's once confident commanders were now faced with the harsh reality of fighting an enemy that refused to be beaten. The power of humans was becoming a clear and undeniable force. One of the most impressive examples of human power came when a small group of elite soldiers managed to infiltrate a key Council facility. The mission was risky, but these soldiers were highly skilled and had been trained for such operations. They managed to sabotage critical systems within the facility, causing significant damage and disrupting the Council's operations. This bold action demonstrated not just technological prowess, but also human courage and ingenuity. The Council's attempt to regain control were met with even more resistance. Human warships launched coordinated strikes against Council supply lines, cutting off their resources and weakening their ability to fight. The Council's fleets, which had once seemed invincible, were now struggling to maintain their strength. Back on Earth, the sense of unity among the people was growing stronger. The shared experience of the war had brought humanity together in ways that had not been seen before. This unity was a powerful force in itself, driving everyone to contribute to the war effort in whatever way they could. As the conflict raged on, the Galactic Council came to realize that their initial assessment of humanity had been a grave mistake. The humans were not just a species to be conquered. They were a force to be reckoned with. Their combination of advanced technology, strategic brilliance, and unbreakable spirit was proving to be more than the Council could handle. The power of humans was not just in their weapons or technology, but in their will to fight for their home. The Council's once overwhelming confidence was now replaced by uncertainty and fear. Humanity had shown that they could not only defend themselves, but also turn the tide of battle in their favor. The war was far from over, but the true power of humans had been revealed. The Galactic Council now faced a formidable enemy, and the struggle for control of Earth had become a test of endurance, strength, and resilience. As the war between humanity and the Galactic Council intensified, a new emotion began to spread to the ranks of the Council's forces: fear. What was once confidence and arrogance had turned into uncertainty and dread. The Galactic Council had always prided itself on being a powerful and invincible force, but the humans were challenging that perception in ways they had not anticipated. The Council's command centers were filled with reports of failures and setbacks. Each new update from the battlefield brought news of human victories and further damage to their fleet. The once proud Council soldiers were now facing a relentless enemy that refused to be intimidated or defeated. In the high command chambers of the Council's flagship, tension was palpable. The High Chancellor paced back and forth, his face etched with concern. His once authoritative voice now carried a hint of desperation. "We underestimated the humans," he admitted to his advisors. "Their strength and resilience are beyond anything we anticipated. We need to find a way to break their will." The fear among the Council's leaders was mirrored in their troops. Morale was plummeting as soldiers and commanders alike began to question their chances of victory. The stories of human strength and resolve were spreading throughout the fleet, fueling a growing sense of dread. Soldiers spoke in hushed tones about the human tactics and the devastating technology they had faced. In the Council's barracks, whispers of defeat circulated among the ranks. Soldiers who had once boasted about their superiority now questioned their mission. Reports of human warships decimating Council fleets and sabotaging their facilities created an atmosphere of panic. The soldiers were no longer just facing an enemy. They were facing an enemy they could not fully understand or predict. The fear was not just confined to the battlefield. It began to spread to the Council's political leaders and civilians. News of the human counterattacks and their unexpected power reached the Council's home planets, causing widespread anxiety. The Galactic Council had always been the dominant power in the galaxy, and the sight of their forces faltering was shaking the very foundation of their authority. On Earth, The human leadership continued to press their advantage. They knew that the fear spreading among the Council's ranks was a valuable opportunity. They used it to their benefit, launching targeted strikes and psychological operations designed to further demoralize the enemy. Leaflets and broadcasts were sent to Council-controlled areas, showcasing human victories and emphasizing the futility of resistance. Despite the fear, the Galactic Council refused to surrender. They were determined to maintain their grip on the galaxy. But the cost of the war was becoming increasingly clear. The once confident invaders were now struggling to hold their ground, and the fear among their ranks was a sign of their growing desperation. As the conflict continued, the Council's leaders tried to counter the fear with increased propaganda and promises of ultimate victory. They assured their troops that they would overcome the humans and restore their dominance. But the reality of the war was far different from the propaganda. The spreading fear had a significant impact on the Council's war effort. The soldiers' morale was deteriorating, and their effectiveness in battle was declining. The once formidable Galactic fleet was now a shadow of its former self, struggling to respond to the relentless human attacks. Back on Earth, the human forces pressed their advantage with renewed vigor. They knew that the fear spreading through the Council's ranks was a sign that they were making progress. Every victory and every psychological blow against the enemy was a step closer to ending the conflict on their terms. The war was far from over, but the fear that had taken hold of the Galactic Council was a powerful force in itself. It was a sign that the humans were not only fighting for their survival, but were also beginning to shift the balance of power in their favor. The Council's once unshakable confidence was eroding, and the struggle for control of Earth had become a battle of endurance and psychological warfare. The Galactic Council's once mighty empire was crumbling. The relentless human resistance had turned the tide of the war, and the once feared Council was now facing the reality of its own defeat. The power that had once seemed invincible was now fading, and the end of the conflict was drawing near. The Council's leadership was in chaos. The High Chancellor and his advisors had been struggling to maintain control as their forces continued to falter. Reports of human victories and the collapse of their key bases had left them desperate. Their attempts to regroup and mount a counteroffensive had failed miserably. The fear that spread among their ranks had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The final battle was about to begin. Earth's forces had prepared a decisive strike against the heart of the Galactic Council's power. The Council's capital, a massive and heavily fortified station located in the center of their empire, was the target. The humans knew that taking the station would effectively end the war. As the human fleet approached the Council's capital, the scene was one of tension and anticipation. The Council's defenses were formidable, with layers of shields and advanced weaponry, but the humans had been preparing for this moment for a long time. Their strategy was to strike with precision and overwhelm the Council's defenses. The battle began with a barrage of fire from Earth's warships. Energy beams and missiles rained down on the capital station, targeting its most vulnerable points. The Council's defenses, already stretched thin from previous battles, struggled to hold up against the intense assault. The once imposing shields that had protected the station were now buckling under the pressure. Inside the capital station, the Council's leaders were in a state of panic. They had prepared for many scenarios, but the sheer scale of the human assault was beyond their imagination. "We cannot hold them off much longer," the High Chancellor admitted, his voice trembling. "We must find a way to stop this, or face complete destruction." The Council's attempts to deploy reinforcements and launch counterattacks were met with failure. The human fleet was relentless, using advanced tactics and technology to keep the Council's forces off balance. Every attempt to counter the attack was thwarted, and the capital station continued to suffer heavy damage. As the battle raged on, the human forces began to breach the outer defenses of the station. The once secure corridors and command centers were now exposed to the advancing human soldiers. The Council's defenders fought bravely, but their efforts were no match for the well-coordinated and determined human troops. The turning point came when a group of elite human soldiers managed to infiltrate the core of the capital station. Their mission was to disable the central control systems, which would cripple the station's ability to defend itself. The soldiers moved with precision, bypassing security and overcoming obstacles with expert skill. Once they reached the control room, They set charges and initiated a shutdown sequence. The explosion that followed was massive. The core of the capital station was shattered, causing catastrophic damage. The once mighty station was now a burning wreck, its defenses completely destroyed. The council's leadership was forced to abandon their posts, and the remaining forces were in disarray. The fall of the capital station marked the collapse of the Galactic Council's empire. With their central command destroyed and their forces in retreat, the council's once fierce authority had come to an end. The humans had achieved a remarkable victory, and the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted. On Earth, the news of the council's fall was met with jubilation. The long and grueling war was finally over, and humanity had emerged victorious. The sense of relief and triumph was palpable as people celebrated the end of the conflict and the preservation of their home. The Galactic Council's fall was a testament to the resilience and strength of humanity. Despite the overwhelming odds and the initial underestimation by their enemies, humans had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy had witnessed a shift in power, and the story of humanity's struggle and triumph would be remembered for generations to come. With the Galactic Council's defeat, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. The Council's once feared empire lay in ruins, and the galaxy was ripe for change. Now it was time for humans to take control and shape the future of the galaxy. The transition from conflict to governance was a monumental task, but humanity was ready. The first step was to secure and stabilize the regions previously controlled by the Council. Earth's leaders knew that maintaining order was crucial to ensuring a smooth transition. Human forces moved quickly to establish control over key strategic locations and to restore peace in areas that had been devastated by the war. In the heart of the former Council territory, human administrators and peacekeepers began their work. They set up temporary command centers in major cities and important outposts. These centers serve as hubs for coordinating relief efforts, rebuilding infrastructure, and addressing the needs of the local populations. The goal was to show that humanity was not just a conqueror, but a responsible caretaker of the galaxy's future. As the new leaders took charge, they faced several challenges. Many of the regions were still in turmoil, and there was widespread distrust among the local inhabitants. The humans had to work hard to build relationships and demonstrate their commitment to justice and stability. They organized community meetings and listened to concerns of people, offering aid and support to rebuild their lives. One of the most significant challenges was dealing with the remnants of the Council's military forces. Though defeated, some factions remained loyal and continued to resist. The human military conducted operations to neutralize these threats, but they did so with a focus on minimizing harm to civilians. The aim was to bring about a lasting peace rather than to perpetuate conflict. Human diplomats and leaders began reaching out to other alien species and governments within the galaxy. They extended offers of cooperation and assistance, emphasizing that the new era under human control would be one of inclusivity and partnership. The message was clear. The galaxy was open to new alliances and mutual benefits. The first diplomatic mission was to the leaders of the neighboring systems, who had been watching the conflict with great interest. The human representatives presented a vision for a united and peaceful galaxy, one where the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. They offered to share technology and knowledge, and to work together on issues like trade, defense, and exploration. Many of the alien leaders were initially wary, but were impressed by the humans' commitment to rebuilding and fostering cooperation. Gradually, relations improved and new alliances were formed. The galaxy began to see the benefits of human leadership as resources were shared and collaborative projects were initiated. Back on Earth, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The war had taken a toll, but the victory had brought a sense of pride and accomplishment. The people celebrated not only their survival, but their role in shaping a new era. Earth's leaders continued to work tirelessly to ensure that the transition was successful and that the legacy of their victory would be a positive one. As humans took control of the galaxy, they faced a future full of possibilities and responsibilities. The challenges of governance were significant, but the experience of the war had prepared them for the task. They approached their new role with a sense of purpose and commitment to creating a better future for all. The fall of the Galactic Council marked the end of an era of domination and the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. Humanity's rise to power was a testament to their strength, resilience, and ability to adapt. The galaxy had been changed forever, and the story of how humans took control would be remembered as a pivotal moment in its history. The future was bright, and humanity was ready to lead with wisdom, fairness, and a vision for a united galaxy. The journey had been long and arduous, but the triumph of humans was a clear signal that the new era would be one of hope and collaboration.